Most first-time homebuyer videos give you a checklist. And look, a checklist is great if everything on the list is already in good shape. But what happens when your credit needs work, or your debt is too high, or you just don't have the down payment? That's not a checklist problem, that's a plan problem. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to actually build that plan so you can get from wherever you are right now all the way to the sitting at the closing table. We're going to cover 4 areas in this video. For each one, it isn't just awareness, it's knowing your next move. That is credit and what the lender needs to see, your debt, maybe you need to pay off some debt first, looking at your income and your paperwork, getting that all together and ready to go, and then your down payment. You know, where is that going to come from and how to plan for it. So start with annualcreditreport.com. This is the Federal Trade Commission approved site. It's free and everybody can go there once a year and pull their reports. You want to start with your Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion reports. Look at them, check to see if there's anything on there that is a surprise to you. You don't want to have a lender look at your report before you do. So it's very important. Now this is free, it's Federal Trade Commission approved, and it won't affect your score. Okay, so there's no excuses. Go look. What will lenders be looking for? All right, they want to see 5 trade lines or more, as well as at least 1 installment account. Everything should be paid fine for the last 5 years. Now, that isn't that to say that, you know, if you have a collection or charge off or a late payment that it's an absolute no, but you definitely want to try and take care of these things ahead of time. A lender is going to want to know why you were late. So, you know, think about why you were in the circumstance and you want to be prepared to explain it. Okay? Any collection or charge-offs, you want to contact those accounts and see if you can get those paid off, if there's a balance owing. And if you do that, make sure that they give you a letter that says you're paid off, because the collection agencies are notorious for taking your money, wiping the debt, but not reporting it to the credit report. So you want to keep this piece of paper that shows that you did pay it for your whole entire life, because it could very well come up later. Okay, very important. Part of your score is the credit utilization. You want to have the highest score possible, right? So part of that is how much you've used of the credit that you have. So let's say you have a $10,000 credit card and you've used $9,000 of the $10,000 available. Well, you're over 50%, you're almost at 100%. That's going to decrease your score significantly. You don't want to do that, okay? If you can, you want to pay down your debts. You want to try and get all your accounts below 50% of the balance, of the limit, all right? Very important. That's going to boost your score and help you qualify better. So try and get to the 0 to 10% utilization. Very important. If you can get any of your accounts down to 50% or more, 50% or less, that's where you want to be, and down, if you can, to 0 or 10%, ideally. However, if you do have a low score, it's not a no or a dead end, it's just a starting point. Thankfully, credit is one of those things that you have the most control over. You can change your credit quickly, all right? But you can't change your income or your down payment quickly in most cases. So definitely focus on your credit. You want to get it as good as you can, all right? So the whole idea here, though, is that we identify what the problem is and then fix it so that you can qualify, all right? If for some reason you do have a high balance and it is lowering your score and you're not qualifying, there's a trick that lenders can use called a rapid rescore. And this is a lender-initiated tool on the credit bureaus, on the credit report side, where a borrower can pay down their debt, show proof, we submit it in, it lowers their debt on their credit report immediately, and that bypasses the normal 2 to 4 to 6 week reporting process that a normal account will go through. So for instance, we had a client recently had a high balance, paid off the debt, boosted the score, but we were able to change that on their current report and not wait to pull a new one 30, 60 days out. We were able to do it in 3 to 5 days, and it's called a rapid rescore. So maybe that's a good option if you do have high debt and have a low score and you want to qualify quickly. If you are paying off any debt to qualify, you want to try and do that ahead of applying. It's not an absolute, but it is ideal. If you're paying off debt during the application process, it's just adding more work for you and stress and more steps to jump through, more hoops to jump through. So try and do that ahead of time. Additionally, you don't want to add debt while you're buying a house. Okay? If you're planning on buying a car or furniture or something like that, even taking a trip, do that after you move in, right? After you move in and qualify for the loan and get the keys, it's not going to matter. But if you're doing it during your process, the loan qualifying process, it could kill the deal, all right? In addition to that, you don't want to change your income. So we're going to move on to income. And there's 2 rules. So first, don't change jobs, right? And even if it's for a better job, you don't want to change. You want to just keep everything nice and stable. Lenders love stability. So keep that in mind. No job changes for sure. And no retiring. We've had people who are looking at retiring and they're like, I want to get out and go live my retirement life. And they just can't wait to do that. But if they retire before they close, that will absolutely disrupt the apple cart. So don't do that. Retire after you close and move in. You also want to get your paperwork together ahead of time. So this is going to be your normal retirement income, W-2s, award letters, pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements, and ID. Generally, it's a 2-month asset statement, bank statement, 1 month to 2 months of pay stubs. You want to do the 2 years of tax returns and W-2s, 1099s, etc. And then your ID needs to be government issued and be good for, at least 3, 4, 5 months. If it's going to expire in the next few weeks or maybe even a few months, go get it renewed now. Don't wait. We have had clients who have their ID expire and they don't have a passport or other, ID, and it doesn't kill the deal, but it delays it. You don't want to be in that position. All right. And regarding this, lending these days and buying a home is very digital. Most everything is online. You will be asked to upload all of your items digitally and sign disclosures online as well. And if you're not tech savvy or you don't like that, you may want to ask for help from a family member or a friend who is more tech savvy, because it is definitely the way the world works these days, okay? Be prepared for that. So as a general rule, the final area we're going to cover is your down payment, right? As a general rule, the lenders will look back for 2 months on your bank statements to see any large deposits. And the idea is to avoid, they want to identify money laundering or terrorist activity. As crazy as that sounds, it is absolutely what the problem is out there. Loans and buying homes, mobile homes, etc., definitely are used for laundering money and terrorist activity. So the lenders are required to make sure that that's not happening on the loan that they're doing. So one of the ways that they look for that is the large deposits. So know that any large deposits in the last 2 months that show up on your bank statements are going to want to be sourced. Okay, you need to show where that money came from. So some people are getting gifts from families, and cash deposits. You definitely want to know that, you know, any kind of cash that you have on hand, go put it in the bank now. Get your name on it now. Don't wait. Put it in the bank, let it sit there for a few months, then apply for the loan, okay? Any large deposits, you want to make sure that you are ready to show where that money came from, all right? We've had people who get money from other countries or sell a property in Mexico or whatever. That is just a lot of work for you and a lot of extra hassle and stress, okay? So move the money now, let it sit there for 2 months. That's your best idea, okay? Yeah, 2 full months seasoning. All right. So where can the money come from for your down payment? Well, certainly your savings. That's a great source. And then you can also have gifts from family or friends. Generally is acceptable. If you're going to sell any stocks, bonds, or let's say you sell a boat or an RV or a car, that's all perfectly fine, but you will be asked for documentation. And then some people can, you know, pull from their retirement in terms of a loan. That's acceptable as well. Now, if you are going to be liquidating an IRA or pulling money from a 401k or anything like that, you want to talk to your advisor and make sure you don't get yourself into trouble, because we've had people who have bought a home, let's say cash, because they pulled all the money out of their IRA early. And they come back to us for a cash out refinance because all of a sudden they have a big tax bill that they didn't expect. So now they get money to pay off this tax bill. So don't let that happen to you. Ask ahead of time, do your homework, check that, okay? So the payment per month is going to be super important, obviously. How much are you qualified for, right? But how much are you also okay with paying? So what you're comfortable with versus what you qualify for may not be the same thing. So you want to talk about this with your spouse if you have one. You want to get comfortable with that. Knowing what it is you're going to be spending per month is very important. Be comfortable and know that number, all right? Talk about it with your spouse if you do have one, right? And you don't want to wait until you're in the home, looking at everything, picturing yourself living there, falling in love with the place, and all of a sudden you're you know, arguing with your spouse that it's too much, or they're arguing with you that it's too much. Maybe make a list of like what your needs are for the home and versus your wants. You know, location, size, bedrooms, parking, amenities. All of that is important to, you know, have ahead of time to know, you know, once you walk in, you're going to get a feel for it, but at the same time, you know, check your list. Does it have the parking you want? Is it okay? You know, that kind of thing. So it's just good to, you know, think about those things ahead of time. You know, the main point of the video is to get you the idea that it's not just where you are now, but figuring out where you are and are there any hurdles? If there are, fix them and then close. So check, fix, and close, right? That's what my MAP framework is all about. It's a mortgage action plan. If you're not ready to buy now, that is normal. But the idea is to get a plan together, right? So that you can buy. Now, maybe you have more questions and you are welcome to book a call with me. I would go to my website or click the link below. You can also watch more videos on this channel. I've got a lot of great information for first-time home buyers and mobile home buyers in California. I've been doing this for 30 years and I'd love to help. All right, thanks.